Welcome to Bout That Life Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Chris Collins.
Mark Jeffries, GGT.
And we are talking about AAU life, basketball, and life in between. Again, for all the supporters out there, greatly appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for our YouTube. Hit that follow button on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Still working to get us on iTunes, but we're on Podbean, we're on SoundCloud. I mean, I've literally tried to put us everywhere. So if you could hit that follow button and please support, because again, you know, a small click for you is a big deal to us. It helps out with keeping good content. Been getting a lot of positive reviews. Mark, I'm pretty sure you've been getting some positive.
A lot.
Right? So,
DMs are blowing up.
and that's exactly, you know, the goal for this. It's just to give a voice to the AAU community, to the Northern California basketball, to all basketball really, and just talk some real talk about what's going on in the world. So today we have another guest. This is going to be a good one because not only is he a good friend of mine, and we've known each other a while and hooped against each other and talked shit with each other and everything else in between. But no, he's a really good dude, you know. I think he's a little too humble sometimes when it comes to his accolades because, as Marcus, you talked to him today, you learned this man's played at some pretty pretty good levels. Yep. But he's definitely someone I'm happy to have on the show. He's our first, you know, pro athlete. I don't want to say the word X because I know he's still transitioning.
I'm done.
Okay.
Officially done.
Okay.
He's at peace.
That's it.
He, you know, just got done playing pro, transitioning to, you know, real life, as we call it. But he had an amazing career. And for those of you guys watching and listening, I really hope you learn a lot and take this to heart because he's also a coach in YBA. So it's like he's not out of reach for any kid or anybody who's, you know, hears this or sees this and it's like, man, I want to meet that guy. I want to meet that coach. He's here. He's right here at YBA. Very approachable, very cool guy. He's 6'10", 6'11" in shoes, so you know, don't feel scared. he's not gonna go feet 5'4" for him. You know, he's someone you could definitely talk to. And this is my guy. I want to give a round of applause to Darion Townes.
Appreciate it. Thank
Let's
you
get
for
it.
having me.
Let's
Thank
get
you.
it.
Thank you.
Nah, he is definitely that guy. So before we get into everything about him, let me go ahead and try to list his accolades and resume as best I can. You correct me as I go, right? Mm-hmm. He's played AAU since 14, which is 8th grade for most kids right now. 7th, 8th grade, middle school. His main two AAU programs were DC Blue Devils, and for 16 you said Bo Williams, right?
Boo Williams.
Bo Williams. Sorry,
yeah, Boo Williams.
Not Bo.
The Godfather.
Boo Williams. Yeah, exactly. Definitely did his thing there. And for you guys who don't know, well, I'll let DT talk more about the history of that. But yeah, that's a very esteemed program to be with.
Very elite.
Yeah, exactly. We went to 3 different high schools, so he was a journeyman already in high school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and he went to T.C. Williams, Archbishop Carroll, and Hardgrave Prep, right?
Hardgrave Military.
Hardgrave Military Prep.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, some of his accolades, his most notable high school accolade that at least he recalls, which shit, it was a big deal. I mean, it's just what it is.
Historic.
And he did this as a sophomore at T.C. Williams.
Yes.
He got 16 blocks in one game,
yes.
right? 16 blocks in one game.
Yes.
186 blocks for the year. And, you know, for any of you kids out there, you know, who think you're a shot blocker, try getting 16 in one game. In a varsity game. This wasn't no JV or freshman game. This was a varsity game. And then
who was the Hall of... Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the previous record holder was Alonzo Mourning.
Yes.
So Alonzo,
Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a Hall of Famer.
So shots fired, Alonzo. He took your record, bro. Took your record. he took your record, bro. No, which is a really big deal. And then, you know, we'll talk about his transition. He played D1 college ball. Played for the Razorbacks at Arkansas. Just because I know some of you high school guys and probably have no clue the kind of conference he was in, but that's the same conference where you have Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, Ole Miss, right? Like you
Tennessee,
yeah,
Vanderbilt,
exactly. So no days off. There's no we can play shit. Maybe preseason's probably like your easiest. At least have one crappy game.
The first 12, 14 games in non-conference when you play all the little schools, and you might play 2 major schools.
Exactly. That's your easiest.
Right. That's the only time it's easy.
So no, he's had a great career professionally, and he had a great career, in college. He played Division I ball. I know a lot of the kids who I coach and a lot of the parents that ask all the time, they're like, what does it take to play D1? What does it take to this, that? I mean, you're literally going to get a guy who played at those levels. He's more than likely going to list a lot of the players he played against who are, notable NBA players, and his journey and his truth. And hopefully it gives some insight to you kids who, support and listen, and also to you parents, so you really understand the jump between it two. Because, again, I went the JC route after I got kicked out of my D1, but my D1 wasn't even like, it was like a mid-major D1, so, and then I had to go into a D2, but work my way back up from JC.
Right.
We know your journey, Mark, and how had to basically climb up, like, you guys.
His ladder was
exactly
intense,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you guys get to hear from a guy who, really went the path a lot of us would like to follow. But at the same time, you got to really hear his journey and hear the work he put in and the mentality he put in. He has a great story that I love when he talked to me about it, from his AAU coach telling him, this is why I don't fucking play you. And I can't wait till he gets into that story. But without further ado, Darian, it's on you. It's your show. First question we got to ask is talk about your AAU life and experiences, and put us into that journey. Put us into the shoes of DT.
Of DT. All right. It all started back in Virginia. I was playing with all my buddies, almost like a program like YBA. It was called Northern Virginia All-Stars. We played in a lot of local tournaments, and one tournament we went to was our biggest one. We had to go out and panhandle. I don't know if people know what that means. We was out asking for money, like bums. Yeah. To get to this tournament. This tournament opened doors for me. My first elite team that I went to was the DC Blue Devils. It's a Nike circuit team.
Nice.
Very nice.
That's where the journey starts from there. I played, y'all might know who these people are. Isaiah Swan. Who else was with us? James White for a hot second.
I know that name, yeah.
High flyer.
Yeah,
bounce?
High flyer, with the bounce.
James Flight White.
Yeah, before he went to DC Assault.
Yeah.
Trey Kelly, he was another guy. He went to South Carolina. I played against him in college. But it was a lot of big names in the DC area. I played with them guys, played in a lot of Nike tournaments, the Peach Jam, the Memorial Day Classic, the Boo Williams Invitational, and all those tournaments. Just a quick story on that. We played at a team from Florida called Team Florida. These guys coming in there with goatees, gold chains, full-on beards. And one of the players that was on that team was Mari Stoudemire.
Ooh.
Wow.
And
he's pretty good.
Yeah, damn good. And we just, looking like little babies. We got baby face, clean cut, all good guys. And we coming, they coming in there with sagging pants and like, looking like, thugs or whatever, but the team and the chemistry that we had was so good, we beat the hell out of that team.
Nice. Wow.
We beat the hell out of that team. And that right there, Boo Williams was there scouting, and that's how all that transpired, and that's how I ended up playing on his team. Nice. As a 15-year-old playing 17, and I also played 16, but I played more 17 than I did 16.
Right.
Playing with Boo, I learned so much, being with that guy. I played with one of the greatest shooters ever, J.J. Redick.
Wow.
Played with Jared Jack, Elton Brown, who was a good player who I looked up. Jason Clark, Trent Strickland. I mean, the list goes on. We had kids from Lithuania. Like, we had one kid from Lithuania. We had one kid from Germany.
Wow.
Like, we were just like, we was that stacked
and getting buckets,
basically. And I'm gonna get. Matter of fact, let me talk about that story right now. So it's a tournament that we went to in New York. We was playing against SoCal, Tyson Chandler and them team.
Nice.
And I'm young. I'm like, when I'm gonna ever get in the fucking game? Like, when am I gonna get in the fucking game? So E, we call him E, Big E, had 2 fouls. He had 2 fouls, and this was my chance. My eyes was big like a deer. I'm like, yes, I'm finally getting in the game. I'm about to, do my thing, hopefully. And I get out there and I shoot an air ball.
Damn.
So you had a Kobe in the first game moment.
Go in there and shoot an air ball. Right. Mind you, you got like all college coaches lined up on the side. It's fans there, and that atmosphere in that gym was just so big. As a young player like myself, I never seen that before. You see it on TV, but I'm there in it. Yeah. And next play, dude come down there, spin off me, dunk.
Damn.
And then come down, missed the rebound. He called a timeout and was like, you know what? This is why I don't play your motherfucking ass. This is the reason why I don't play your fucking ass and sit on the bench.
Damn.
I had to put my head down, stumped, and sat on the bench and for the rest of the tournament.
But again, even piggybacking off that story, because what he said to me when we talked was actually very profound, and I want the kids to hear this from you, is you said to me that you sitting that bench with that team and practicing with them really clicked something for you, and you learned a lot, in that moment, because, again, and now you're seeing it more and more that you get in this AAU world. You have so many parents who, and I talked about this, before, they want to jump until they hear what they want to hear rather than take an experience like yours where that kind of humbled you and you're like, I got to learn.
So what I learned from that, because, as a kid, we want to go out there and play.
Right, of course.
You know what I'm saying? We want to play.
Of course.
So me bitching to my mother, she was like, no, you're going to sit your ass down and you're going to play on this fucking team. And I'm like, okay. Like, what can I say? This is my mother, Right.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to go back and play, with my boys over at Blue Devils. But what I learned by sitting on the bench was how much you can gain by sitting there watching those guys play. And I learned more sitting on the bench than I did me being out there on the floor. Now, how you look at that, people be like, dude, you sound crazy by saying that. Don't you want to play? Of course we want to play. But sitting on the bench and learning how the game is actually played when those guys is out there, I learned quickly. And just watching how he approached the game, his attitude, his shot, the way, how he talks to the refs, how he talked to Boo, how he talked to JJ and everything. I learned so much watching that guy. And then when my chance finally came, when I was 16, I think I showed you that picture. Yeah. That tournament right there was the start of basically my AAU career. We just got finished beating J.R. Smith team.
Wow.
Nice. Tim Thomas players. It's a very well-known team. I'm pretty sure they're still around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was the Southern Invitational. We played in University of Virginia. And they had 2 guys on that team that was going to Syracuse that year. And how that started, it was damn near almost the same like when we played in that tournament in New York. I went in the game, first play, dude missed a shot. I came out of nowhere and tip dunked. Boom.
Hey.
That was the start of me and my confidence. Like, damn, I actually can play with these motherfuckers. Because I'm yes, I verbally committed to Georgetown, I'm going to the 11th grade, but I had to back that up.
Right.
Because back home everybody was like, all right, how this scrawny fucking kid, get to Georgetown, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so much hating. But we'll get to that topic later. Right now, we're talking about AAU, but that was the start of my AAU career, and sky's the limit from there.
Nice.
That sounds great. No, that's one hell of a journey, brother. That is one hell of a journey. Yeah. Mark, you sure you still want to coach AAU?
Man, shoot.
I can't even imagine coaching a team like that. I mean, you've seen my teams, and I think I got some pretty good teams.
No, you do.
Shoot, if I had that kind of talent,
JJ,
I'm running JJ off 7 screens.
Oh, I mean, shit. Before the game start, how we started off, he get the first 5 plays. First 5 plays out of them 5 shots, he'd have made 4.
Really?
And that's when the game starts for us. Right. That's when the game starts.
Let me ask you this: so, being like you said, to him, and for a lot of us who know who JJ Redick is, he's a master at his craft.
Right.
During that time when you was around him, what did you see work ethic wise?
Man, this dude was a workaholic. And I'm not just saying that just to make it sound pretty. No, this dude was a workaholic. He won the state championship by himself in Virginia.
Wow.
He won the state championship by himself.
Carried his team.
Yes. It was just JJ Redick. That's it.
Yep.
Just playing with that guy, his shot is so quick, so fast, like how Steph Curry run all them 1,000 screens. Yes, he did. We did the same thing for him.
Wow,
and just have him on our team, it just made everything calm because we know we got the best shooter in the country, and he's going to save us, and he saved us a lot.
Wow.
Well, I'll give a splash for JJ Redick.
Hey,
thanks for helping my man's out. No, so you're doing your AAU thing, done with your college thing. Now let's transition to the pro aspect, right? You're going pro. What's that journey like?
It's we're gonna fast forward through college, and I was excited. Had a great career at Arkansas. Going through that transition it was pretty scary because now you're in the real world. Now, what are you gonna do?
It's a business now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, the business actually start once you hit high school.
True.
Basically,
Yeah.
ninth grade.
Yeah.
When you're in 9th grade, that's when the business starts. But leaving from that, going into finding an agent, you got to find an agent who's gonna be the right fit for you, who's gonna market you out there to these teams, and it's so much shadiness. One agent I talked to was downplaying the agent that I signed with, this dude ain't gonna get you this and he ain't gonna get you that, but I can get you all this, and just shit like that. And just going through that, and your teammates going in different directions, and you just see so much happen right there so fast. It's hard to try to collect all that, and but the the workouts and stuff. Man, them shits was hard. Them shit it's trying out for an NBA team. You have to be very, very special. That shit just don't happen overnight. These guys, including everybody around the world, is doing the same thing what you're doing.
Yep.
But you have to stand out more, and you have to do more. You can't be content what you did, and I felt like that's why I did wrong at. I was too content. Instead of pushing myself more to give more to make it to to get drafted or whatever. So,
one thing I always, just piggybacking on that, which I love that he said that, make sure all my guys that I train listen to this, is I always say this to my players: don't blend in, stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pretty simple, especially when you get to that level, because like you said, there's so many people at the highest level trying to get to that mountaintop.
Right.
So they've been working for years.
Yeah.
And like you said, you gotta be special, you gotta be different.
Right.
to get there.
And especially for me, I should have I knew I was a good rebounder and a good post player, but I wanted to do other shit that I shouldn't have, I shouldn't been doing. Like I was trying to transition and playing a guard, and you know, because I wanted to be like Lamar Odom,
Right?
You know, 6'10", who can handle, play outside, inside, do it all. But instead of just being that Tim Duncan player that I was overseas, I should have did it when I came out of school.
And then tell me about the overseas journey. I mean, I know you played, you know, a good amount of places. Obviously, you know, I would see you when you come back home and play with me in some leagues and talk some shit and then go out. You know what I mean? Like that was our relationship. Like, you know what I mean? We go to Destiny, hoop it up a little bit, and then he's out. Like, you know what I mean? But no, and you know, my overseas experience was brief. You know, I said 3.5, 4 years. Same with you, right, Mark?
Yep. 4.
But you did this, you know, 10+ years, man.
Yeah.
You know, this is and again, what I always reiterate, and you know, you guys can tell me your experiences, but when I talk to guys that ask me about overseas, I say, listen, you have to become aware of a lot of things you might not think about, like what's the country's economy? Because again, they'll say whatever to get you out there.
Oh yeah.
But if it's at a third world country, how are they going to pay you when they barely can sustain their own economy? How the hell you think they're going to pay you $40,000, right? Exactly. You know what I mean? Then you have to look at the political climate. You know, some countries are literally in a state of war.
I played in a country that was in a state of war.
Exactly. It's like you kind of have to start becoming socially aware, because you might get these contracts thrown at you and offered at you, but you know, I remember one player, so this is the dumbest shit ever. When I was in the ABA, guy said to me, he said, "Oh, I got an offer from was it North Korea?"
Huh?
And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I got an offer, man. I think I'm gonna take." I said, "You do you know what's going on in North Korea? Like, you know they want to kill Americans, right?" He said, "No, you tripping, bro. You tripping." And I was like, "Do you ever open a newspaper or, you know, watch CNN? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and again, you know, I get it. We're in the ABA. We're happy to get any kind of look, but that's North Korea, brother.
Right.
Like, they will chop your fucking head off. Right? What are you talking about?" So, you know, I'm just saying for you, maybe you could talk a little bit about those years and, you know, highlight some of the countries you like, maybe some of the ones you didn't, some of the programs you did, maybe some of the horror stories, because I know I've heard a few from ex-teammates and things like that. And, you know, you tell me, what was that like?
I mean, I was blessed. I was blessed to, you know, play 12 years overseas. I've been all over except Australia and Africa. My first gig, I played on a Euro Cup team, which is right under the Euro League. My first team was over in Poland, PGE Turo. We had 7 Americans and 2 domestic players. Both of them were great shooters, and the rest were Polish guys, but only one really played. Playing on that team, you know, leaving from playing American style basketball to coming to play European basketball is different. I'm young. At that time, I was arrogant. I had a big ego. I had a chip on my shoulder because I'm upset that I didn't get drafted. You know, I had that going in over there, and those guys they were like vets. They were like 5 years in, 6 years in. I'm a rookie, you know, coming over there with that nonsense, and they humbled me very well. They humbled me very well, and the coach that I had, he was very, very tough, man. Very, very tough, and he took no bullshit. And I actually played very well out there with the time I did. We beat Bros Basket, who is a big team. I think they're EuroLeague now, I think. But at that time, they were Euro Cup. That's when I had 10 points, 8 blocks, and 5 assists. That was like my breakout game in the Euro Cup.
Solid.
That guy that I played against was Arthur Johnson. He played with the Miami Heat at that time, and I did my thing against him. And you know, shit happened. I got cut. Going through that was pretty tough. I got cut from the team and ended up playing in the D League at that time and sitting the bench on there. So, you know, playing in the D League is very political.
Absolutely.
I'm not, you know, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I did 3 years of that political. Played with Nick Nurse. 1 year.
Okay.
With Iowa Energy, learned a lot from him. He's a great coach, great dude. But European basketball is not what people think it is, because everybody has a role, and it starts like from the 5-man. All you doing is setting pick and roll, pick, roll, pick, roll, pick, roll. So you got to be in pick, roll shape if you're a 5.
Right.
If you're a 4-man, you basically is like Kevin Love, stretch 4, top of the key, 3-point shot. Basically, you're going to have the ball in your hand majority of the times if you play in the 4 position, mostly at the top of the key.
Yeah.
Playing the 3, that's basically the athletic player. You basically stand in the opposite corner of the 2. The 2 is the only one that's going to shoot the fucking ball only in the corner. It's only in the corner. That's it. Only in the corner.
Okay.
And the 1 is basically, he's the floor general.
Yeah.
You know, running off the screens, hitting the guy off the 5, or he may take a shot here and there, but basically he's going to either give it to the 2-man for the shot, or he basically going to pass it back up to the 4 and start the offense basically all over.
It sounds like the floor is just spread.
Yeah, spread out.
It's just spread out.
Just spread.
Yeah.
Everybody run the same plays.
Yeah. Man.
So it really comes down to just your individual talent. I mean, creating out of those systems.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I played in a lot of different countries, you know, playing in Asia. Basically playing over there, like, you really have to be an all-around player. You can't be just one-dimensional. If so, you're gonna get cut. They're gonna send you home. Don't matter how good you are. If you're not doing what they ask you, they're gonna send you home.
I got a funny story because this is in the Philippines, and you might know. I saw a dude drop 40 right off the plane. Drop 40. They sent him back home.
Damn.
Real talk.
Sounds about right.
For real. And they won the game too. They won the game. And I remember asking my agent, I was like, this is when I was in the Philippines, like why?
Yeah,
like
you drop 40 and then you're out of here.
It was the way he interacted with his teammates.
Yep.
It was the way he talked to the coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, he just dropped 40 though, and it was nasty. They sent him home.
Yeah.
And I was
But
like, okay.
that piggybacks on a big point, because I know straight up for me, because I had to really grind it out to get notice, even for my first contract was fucking terrible, but I really had to like grind it out to get there. Likability goes a long way.
Yes.
Like if your teammates like you and your coaches like you, it does go a long way. It not just the skill, but like, you know, liking the person, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I really talked to kids about that. That's where I circle back to the kids I coach. I said, you know, college coaches are stuck with you for potentially 3 to 4 years for 6 to 8 months of their life.
Yeah.
So if they don't like you, they don't care how talented you are. They like, get the hell out. Like, I'm not dealing with you. And the same transition, I think, matters a lot at the pro level too.
What they do for the college level is they'll just recruit another player over your ass.
Exactly.
And if you see the coach not talking to you as much like he was before, joking around, you know, do you want to work out and all this stuff? They'll recruit another player and they'll be on that guy. And then you wonder why is coach not talking to me like how he used to?
Yeah.
Well, you probably rubbed him the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it does carry over to the pro level because, like, let's say, you know, you guys are overseas players, right? And, you know, like I said, I come over there with my ego and all this stuff. Y'all look in my face, smiling in my face and everything, but they'll go right behind your back to the coach like, he got to get the hell out of here. And then, like you said, drop 40 or whatever, and then you getting a ticket, you know, here's your ticket, you know, thanks, blah, blah, blah. Like, why did I get cut? They ain't going to give you no answer. But it's basically the players.
It's not a good fit.
Right. It's the player.
It's true.
Yeah. But, yeah, man. But, nah, I had a ball. My favorite place was Hungary, Holland, Taiwan, and South Korea. And Lebanon.
Nice. I remember you like Lebanon a lot.
Not gonna like it, but I'm sorry. Lebanon was my favorite. One of them. Yes.
Nice.
Why?
Why? Because I get to do anything I want.
Okay.
I can drive fast if I want.
Wow. Like that.
Like that.
That's what's up.
Yes. But they really love basketball out there. And I met a lot of good people there, the locals. If they love you, they love you. And they'll do anything. Like, they'll give you their shirt if they could. You know, even though it's a third world country, you know, Syria's right there.
Right.
You know, in all them countries. And they were in war at one point. Excuse me. They were in war at one point. like you can hear like the planes and shit going by. You see the tanks and stuff going down the road. Like I seen so much in that little country, but I can say if you doing your thing in that country, the whole country knows who you are.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. That's dope.
No, that's a great. I mean, that's a great experience, brother.
It is.
So for your journey, can you tell me or circle back to any maybe coaches, trainers that really like helped you along the way, or that you kind of like, hey, shout out to X because you really helped make me the guy who I was?
I got 3 shout outs. Gus Armstead is one.
All right,
nice.
It's Flash the Gus.
Dave Ankrum is 2.
No Dave.
And my uncle.
Hey.
My uncle. And I break it down
nice
for all 3. Gus, like with me training with Gus, I learned how to control the ball at like a guard. Footwork, nice. Like certain moves, he's good at that. And just having a lot of those pro guys, come back and play, and when we when we play pickup and stuff, it was a great atmosphere.
Nice.
Just being in training with Gus. Dave Ankrum, same thing. A lot of pro guys come through there, but what I learned from Dave is the backboard shot. The backboard shot. Everything, left hand, I'll develop a left hand. And the backboard. That's what I gained from there working out with Dave.
Nice.
Shooting with my left. He for someone to be 55 plus still playing basketball with guys that's high school, college, and pros, and still giving people buckets.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's how I want to age.
Gold.
Just throwing that out there.
Like this
55? Wow.
55 plus. And he also plays in leagues too. So he's training with us.
Yeah.
So he's getting beaten, bruised, and stuff with us. So when he plays in his league, it's easy.
I love that.
It's easy. And
that's great.
Just working with him and, just being under him, learning so much. He played overseas also, so he went through the grind and all that stuff, like how we went through it. And his son is actually going through it now. And I learned a lot from Dave, just being with him. And then my uncle, he was the true master of me growing up as high school. Like he taught me everything. He got me into a lot of the workouts I wasn't even supposed to get into. For instance, like working out over at Georgetown, like playing with Michael Jordan, playing with Mike Sweetney. Mike Sweetney is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big man.
Terrell Owens came through sometimes. Old Georgetown Hoya players came through. The only one that didn't come through, I'm a little upset, is Allen Iverson.
I was going to ask that.
Everybody else came through, but him.
Wow.
That would have been great.
But just to get a chance to to work out with Patrick Ewing and Dikembe and all those greats that was there, Alonzo when he came through, just being in that atmosphere when I was at a young age from 14 all the way until I learned so much just being with those guys. And they taught you, just like they cursed at us, they fucking hit us, dunked on us. I've been dunked on plenty of times by Pat and all those guys when they were playing, but it built character. So when I went back to high school, it was a piece of cake.
Yep. Sped up the process.
Yeah.
So you're coaching in the club now, and I know that transition's interesting. But outside of, and we'll get more into that one too. Yeah. But now that you're here, you're home. You know, I know the family's happy you're home, and I'm glad you're here because it's good to see my friend. What's 5 years from now looking like for you? What are you thinking?
Hopefully, me and you can run this city.
Hey, I like that.
I would definitely take that challenge on, brother.
I love it.
And I deal with a lot of shit along the way, but you know me, I don't care. I deal with it either way. No, I like this, man. It's great that 3 basketball minds. Well, I should say actually 4, because Ty, I got to give you some credit, brother. I know you behind the camera, but
Hey.
y'all don't know this man's a basketball head too.
Yes.
So
Former
we 4 brothers out here,
Yep.
loving basketball, talking about it, and just trying to help the next generation. So I just can't invalidate that enough. Right. That kind of goes back to the next thing I want to transition to. So COVID, right? Because again, it's just part of life. Got to talk about it. It's, maybe a year from now it won't be, but for now it is. It's forcing kids to play outdoors, right? It's forcing kids to train outdoors. I know, Mark, you're doing a lot of training outdoors.
7 days a week.
Yeah, I see a
we
lot
working.
of it. And we're in California. We're in Northern California at that. And just for anybody who's listening outside of this, it is not cold out here. It is very hot out here. I mean, I think probably in this room right now is like 70, and we're still managing okay. But trust me, it's hot in this room. But we're working shit. It's getting to the 100-degree weather. I know yesterday it was like 103.
It's hot.
It's July.
Yeah,
July.
Exactly. So what do we think about that? These kids are like, I can at least say this in the beginning. I actually, I know I would assume, especially for me and you, because we're to the same age. Like I played outdoors. A lot.
I was about to get into it.
Yeah, I played outdoors. So I was lucky enough. I grew up in the Bay in Oakland, so you never really gets too crazy hot because you're right by the ocean and stuff. But still, you're playing outdoors. I mean, in the city, where you might hear a gunshot or two, or you might see a crackhead shoot by real quick. Like that's your playing ground. You know what I mean? And that's your classroom. That's where you're getting better. That's how you're learning the game. That's how you're getting tough. That's how you have OGs, teaching you how to shoot, and you're figuring shit out. You know what I mean? These kids. I mean, we literally have I have an AAU club that has its own facility. I mean, come on, man. I wish I had an AAU club that had its own facility like that.
Man,
So it is kind of funny and interesting seeing the kids. I believe with this COVID stuff, it's showing the kids that really want this, and the ones who don't.
Exactly.
The ones who and I always say to my kids, I said, there's basketball players and there's kids who play basketball.
Ooh, I like
We're
that.
finding out who the basketball players are because the kids, Bracy, and shout out to Bracy. He had a great Instagram
I watched
post.
That.
You saw that? Bracy's a trainer. He does Team Rampage.
In Vallejo.
Really cool dude in Vallejo. And he had a nice story he was talking about. It was like 8-minute video, but I'll give you guys the cliff notes. He basically just said, man, if I'm at a high school and I'm noticing my rival high school is outdoors training and practicing, I'm calling my high school guys and I'm like, man, we got to get the fuck out here because we can't lose to these guys. We can't use COVID as an excuse why we're not in shape and why we're not, doing our thing.
Is using COVID as
exactly.
Excuse.
So I'm just curious of your thoughts on that.
Man, just to touch on, playing outside, for the old heads like us, that was our gym. Playing outside. We didn't play indoors. It was
that was a luxury.
Right. That it was strictly hardwood. Concrete.
Yep.
Outside playing for hours. Hours. And now I tried to go out there and play on the concrete. I can't even get up and down the floor. So me looking back on that, how did I manage to do this?
We figured it out.
But this whole COVID thing, man, I feel like it's setting a lot of kids back. Some of them had great promise to going and doing big things, and I really feel like this is making all the kids lazy, and it's holding them back. And hopefully we can get through it and find a way that these kids can get back on the field, football field, on the basketball court, soccer field, any sport that they play. I really feel like they just trying to control everything and try to keep us inside, and instead of just living our lives. For someone who's trying to, they finally got, their confidence in playing and okay, mom, this is my year and this happened. You know what I mean? And it's just sad, and for us, because, we went through it, but for them kids, it kind of crushed them. Now they don't have the confidence. They don't want to play. They just want to be in the house, be lazy, play video games, and not work out. it's sad, man.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely sad, you know what I'm saying? Just because, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of kids, just especially like, with the kids that I trained, where we had a game plan, a blueprint, or, this is what we're going to do this summer. You about to go to school. You got the scholarship. This is going, and of course, with some of my kids who are, who need AAU to be recruited, to be seen, it puts a pause right now. But like I tell all my guys, you have to work like things are going to go back to normal tomorrow. Yeah. That's the mindset, right? I mean, of course, everybody's not going to do that. But I feel like, just like being outside, especially for me, of course, I'm not training, but I'm still standing out there in the sun. You know what I'm saying? So for me, to be, out there and making sure that guys are still staying consistent, that should have no excuse for anybody else. No. You know what I'm saying? To like, what's gonna happen if things go back to normal, and then you never know. Of course, you're assuming that people are gonna take their time, but you never know. They're like, all right, AAU starting this date. You know what I'm saying? Do you really think in 2 to 3 weeks that's enough time compared to the other kid who's been doing this since the first shutdown? Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely tough, but control what you can control. Yeah. All right, being in the gym or being outside, working on your game, whether it's hot or whatever, bring a gallon of water, get your muscle memory up. That's all I have to say about that.
You're right. And I watched a lot of motivational videos and stuff all the time at UPS. I think I told you guys that before. And Arnold Schwarzenegger said something that was pretty funny. He said, people talk about, he said, man, sleep 4 to 6 hours and then, get up, work, lift, because obviously the man was Mr. Universe for 4 years in a row. He said, people are saying to me, whoa, what do you mean sleep 4 to 6 hours? I need 8 hours. He said, well, go to sleep faster. You know what I mean? He said, go to sleep faster. I love that because it's like, kids will say, well, it's hot by 8 o'clock. We'll get to the fucking park by 5. Right. Like, shut up and get to the park by 5 then. You know what I mean? Get there before it's hot. So high school basketball, going into that, it's basically been verified. A lot of high schools are doing distance learning. In our area in Rockland, it might be like 2 days in class, 3 days distance learning.
Sounds about right for everybody.
Football for most schools, if it's even happening, is not going to happen until January. Those football seasons are going to be extremely short. And that means basketball is not going to happen until March of next year. And that high school season is going to be league, maybe some playoffs in league, done. Back to AAU. How do we feel about that? No high school season for a lot of these kids. Imagine seniors, juniors, right? Like, now what do we do? Do they basically just invest and prepare more for AAU, or is basically this high school season irrelevant now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, I feel like AAU back when I was playing, I felt like AAU was dominant anyway. Like, high school was okay, yeah, we're gonna play high school, but AAU is where we really need to showcase.
Yep.
I think it's great for the kids. Now I don't know if the coach is still gonna go through it with the video, or we send tapes, or they're watching the games, or if they come live. But if so, I feel like you got a better shot trying to make it to a school than you playing high school. Because from what I've been hearing, just talking to different people, it seems like their high school coaches don't do shit for them.
Not nowadays. Not like it used to be. High school coaches, were more the pivotal. And I'm speaking this as a high school coach because I coach at Whitney High and I'm the JV coach there. But yeah, most of the recruitment nowadays, college recruits, 35% of them come from JC. I think it's 82% come from AAU.
Wow,
that's the numbers. Like, people can look it up. If you believe in Google, go look it up. Like, that's just what it is.
It's the truth. I mean, because like I said before, without me playing on Boo or Blue Devils, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you.
Yeah.
Like AAU is a big platform. It can hurt you or it can help you. Yep. It helped me because, like I said, you got 1,000 coaches sitting right there, but you got to go out there and perform. Yeah. You can't take no days off.
Yep.
If you really want to be a ball player, like, you really got to put the time in. It can't be, okay, I'm going to work out, for 2 hours here, and then the rest of the day I'm gonna just do nothing. No, dude. No. You gotta constantly keep going because that other kid in Nevada or California or Texas is doing the same thing, but probably doing it more. It's like basketball is global now.
You're right.
It's not just homebound. It's global now.
Second, just so you guys understand, it's the second biggest sport in the world now. I think it surpassed baseball. Because baseball's still big in Latin countries, but we're talking about as a whole. First is soccer. Soccer's always going to be king. We're never going to beat that. But next is basketball. Yeah. I mean, it really has reached that level of popularity. So for you aspiring hoopers out there, you're competing with the world now. Yeah. It's not your city. It's not just your state. It's not even just your country. You're competing with the world.
And there's so much, like with us growing up. You know what I'm saying? Because I use the way, of course, when I'm training, like I'm just always researching and studying other trainers and players. We didn't have no YouTube, no resources. And even now with trainers, because I feel like a lot more people as trainers are coming out now and using social media as a platform to build their business and to help train kids. We didn't have that. There's so many resources now.
Slam magazine.
Yeah, man. For real. Yeah.
Oh, that definitely is throwback. Slam and Sports Illustrated. That's throwback.
I forgot the other one.
I'm trying to think the one we had in Oakland. Was it Hoops Wars? I can't remember.
It was something, but I know it was like all the colleges.
Yeah.
And that's where you can like, all right.
Yeah.
Where I'm ranked at this week.
Right. I mean, that's really what it was. And then now we're going to circle back to you, DT, with you're now a coach. Yeah. welcome. and I know, you're dealing with a developmental team.
Yes.
Okay. They're not rec. They're a little above rec, but they are the guys that you got to figure out.
Right.
Can they play this game? Are they going to continue? Are they going to quit? Like you got that group, right? There's just tiers to it. There's levels to it.
Right.
And you'll find your voice as you go, as I keep telling you. You know what I mean? But talk to me about that. Talk to me about the transition to pro player to coach. And Mark, you caught a little bit of it when he came in that day, man. And he won.
Man, it's fun. I enjoy it. You basically gave me the foundation of like what I'm going to be getting myself into, and now I'm going through it. Me being a pro player, I had way too much expectations on my kids. Way too much. I thought they can do this. I thought they can do that. Hell no. They can't do neither, and but every day, like when I go home, I vent to my wife, telling her like I went down, and I always stay up like an extra hour or two and just look at like different like plays, coaches and stuff on YouTube.
Right.
Just trying to find the right fit for my guys. Every day I try to think like, what can I do with them this week? Like, yes, we need to work on plays, but only a few might run it and the other few don't know it.
Right.
And then I always question myself and I'm like, okay, aren't you guys varsity players?
Yeah.
Like, aren't you like, when I first came into this, I'm thinking these guys 17, they seniors or, juniors or whatever playing up. I'm expecting these dudes to know how to play basketball. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was supposed to come like, okay, Mark, just come off the screen just a little bit to get your shot off. Chris, just run the floor hard, stuff like that. No, I have to coach.
But that tells you what high school level looks like. I mean, these are high school varsity players. That tells you what it looks like.
I really didn't know it was like that. And, now I'm finally getting the backstories of my kids. Some didn't even play at all. Yeah. Some transferred different schools because they didn't like the coach. Some played, but they just like lacking on like effort or, just toughness. Yeah. It's just so much. And eventually I'm going to learn how to cope with that and express my, like he said, my voice.
Yep.
Eventually it's going to come out.
Yeah.
But by me being so laid back and chill all my life, this is I think this is my true test of me opening up so people can see how I am.
And it's a challenge. I mean, it's you find when you transition out of being a player, you find a new hunger, a new, like you said, you're up learning the game from a coaching aspect.
Right.
And it drives you to be a competitor in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? Because any one of us, you know, you have fucking amazing fadeaway, by the way, but like any one of us could go on the court and say, okay, man, make a right hand layup like this. Like we can physically do it. You know what I mean? I'm coming off a torn Achilles and I could still knock down 23s. Like, but how do you work with this fifth grader who can barely, you know, get the ball above his head?
Right.
Like, and you have to. That's the challenge for us, right?
Yeah,
Right. Locks of patience, and even as a trainer, right? Because you get kids. And I've seen your videos. You get kids from ground one.
Yeah,
like
that's how it started.
You know, day one can't do anything. I'm sure even like because you know with Myron, like that's your guy.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you went to his high school games. You see some of his teammates, and you're like, oh my god, why are you on the team? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the type. You've been to my Whitney JV games. You saw that, bro. You see guys like you saw Jaden stand out as a freshman,
Right.
But think about that. My best player was a freshman, and I had juniors on that team.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just how much work you put in.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. Like nowadays, it's whoever grinding the most is gonna get the most time. It doesn't matter if you're a senior. Like, okay, this is my big thing that I have a problem with. That's here in Sacramento. Most of these kids, or when I talk to them or hear them, they always say their coach don't play their guys if they only juniors and seniors. If I got a ninth grader who's a fucking beast, why is he not on the varsity team?
Yeah,
I'm telling you that happens though. Real talk, it does. I can tell you the former coach at Oakmont, he was very much that way. He said I don't play underclassmen. I play juniors and seniors only, even though the sophomores and freshmen are better than them.
That's the dumbest thing.
Right.
I got this guy for the next 3 years.
Exactly.
We can make something happen.
Exactly.
But I don't get it. It's just confusing to me.
It's just weird traditions and things like that. I mean, hey, who
is it
knows?
a type of, like, of course, like I said, I'm a trainer, so I don't. So, is it a type of coach? Is it an old school mentality? Are these coaches more from back in the day?
I believe so. Like the coach at Wood Creek, Hibbs, who won state, I think, a couple of times. He's a legendary coach, but he is very old school, like very old school. You know, he don't. I think just this past year, he just started pressing. He wouldn't press because he just didn't believe in pressing. I'm like, what fucking high school team doesn't press? Like that's all I do. I'm I'm a press and run and gun. We trying to get 30 on you like in two minutes. Like you have some who are just very, still rigid. To be fair, and you know, maybe this might rub some people the wrong way, but I can at least speak on it from my journey because of the coaching and the different places I've been and the different coaches I know. It's more white coaches, straight up. White coaches are typically more the rigid guys. You know, I would say brothers. Like if you go to Grant with Coach Denard, shout out to you, Coach D. There's a reason Grant won sectionals. I mean, he plays to his style of player. I feel like
I watched them play.
Right. I feel like you were at the playoff game. You were at the playoff game. I feel like brothers black coaches have a tendency to try to evolve, right? And understand that my style of coaching has to adjust to my personnel.
Right.
Unfortunately, I feel with most Caucasian coaches, I'm not saying, and I can only speak on my experience. So for people listening, you say, "Are you saying all white coaches?" No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from my experience, more Caucasian coaches have a harder time sometimes transitioning to, okay, I gotta evolve, I gotta change. There's a reason Coach K and Coach Calipari are still some of the best in their fields. They've evolved with the game. The best coaches evolve with the way the style of the game is. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you want to be successful. In the high school level, because there's more intangible, like their job isn't pending. Typically, their job is not pending on if they win or lose. because they're usually teachers. They usually work for the school.
Athletic director.
Exactly. So it doesn't. They can go 0-30 and they're still gonna have the job because they're like, oh, I want it done my way. This is the right way, and it's like that's why you don't win. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what I think you see at this high school level, especially out in places like this sometimes.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, there's no way, like, I still get upset about y'all game. Like, I still talk to it till this day. Like, they should not lost that game. I feel like that 5 in, 5 out. You can't do that when it's money time.
Right.
This is money. That coach from Grant didn't make no subs.
Nah.
He made 2 subs.
And this was just so you understand the context where it's talking. This was the game that would have, I think, led to the semis. It was going to lead to the semis.
It was the second. I think it was the second round.
So it was Grant versus Whitney.
Wow.
And I mean, it was a battle, but again, Whitney lost, unfortunately. But that game, if they would have won that, I really feel Whitney would have won the entire, because Grant beat us, and then they won all the. That game, Whitney versus Grant, was really to determine who was going to be the division champions.
That was the championship game.
That was the championship game, in my opinion.
And I felt like watching, like I was just being just a regular guy. Like, I don't know, because I watched his game. That's JV. That's totally different program. Like, I always been hearing about Grant. Let me go watch this team. And I've been hearing, Whitney because of Anthony and the kids that's here at YBA. So I was like, this is perfect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good ass game. Yeah. But I just felt like Whitney had the upper hand they should have won the game. Yeah. Hands down. They should have won the game. Like, Grant, they had 2 guys, dribble the ball, shoot. That's it. Dribble the ball, shoot. Yeah. Run the zone. Run the zone. They had 1 shooter, and he was decent at that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whitney had big kids, but they never played to their strength. They got the bit, like, what's that kid name?
Ryan,
right?
Big Ryan,
Play through him. Play through him.
They didn't do that?
No, he never touched the ball.
What were they doing then? What was the game plan during that game?
It was a lot of guard play. I mean, it was, they were trying, it was a lot of transition basketball. I mean, it's just Coach French, and that's my guy, because I do work for Whitney. He does have a particular subbing pattern, and I'm trying to help him even break that habit, because again, it works for what he has. Typically, he didn't have the athletes that he's getting now. You know what I mean? And I'm catching shit because he's getting some of those athletes, because you got a lot of YBA kids all of a sudden going to Whitney. So everybody, of course, blames me. So I'm like, I ain't telling nobody shit. Yeah. But I think him breaking the habits is something he's learning to do, and he's willing to do now that he realizes he has the pieces to do it. That Grant game, I think, was kind of his look at, like, what I do, got to change a few of my subbing habits, because there was just, sometimes he would sub that maybe he didn't need to, or sometimes where he could have went, like, he could have had Anthony and Ryan in more and run with a 2 big,
2 big lineup. Yeah. Because they had their 2 bigs out there. Yeah.
So, but he runs a 4-out-1-in system, which overall is a good, I mean, they had a great record last year. Whitney was winning. Like, they were one of the top schools. But again, playoff basketball is different. It's not the same.
Yeah. You can't take because that team that you beat by 30, normally be the scary team to watch out for, because now, hey, we got none to lose. They fucking hitting shots. Like, this dude can't shoot. He done hit like 6 threes. Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just the luck of the draw, because it's a whole new environment, whole new game now. But I really, to this day, I really felt like Whitney should have won that game. But shout out to Grant, they won. Got good players, and I enjoyed watching them, man. It felt like a college atmosphere.
For real. They had the bands and all that. Remember that?
And everything. That, like, the atmosphere and that was like, I was looking at Grant. Band more than I was watching the game.
I'm telling you.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it, but just I hope these kids, and I hope they really take the time to work out and master their craft and stop being lazy, and if they talking about they want to play at the next level, dude, you have to.
Yep.
The workouts have to be extremely.
Exactly.
You know what
like I love what Ted said. He said, it's not sacrifice, it's investment.
Yep.
Right? It's not sacrifice. You're not sacrificing time, you're investing your time.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that look.
like that.
That one word difference. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Makes a huge. You're not sacrificing, you're investing.
Yeah.
Right.
They can be gone like that.
Exactly.
Like 12 years went by that fast, and I'm 35.
For real.
College went by that fast, 4 years. You know what I mean? Like time is going extremely fast.
Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
Always. And speaking on great games, this is kind of something I want to point out just for myself. I want to give a shout out to Coach Robinson and Team Touch. A lot of those kids were former YBA kids, the twins Tyree and Tyrese Rose and Derek Lamb. Those are some guys I've worked with and coached, and Derek I trained. And so just a quick precursor, Coach Robinson was a YBA coach. He had an elite team, an 8th grade elite team. I had an 8th grade elite team. He unfortunately decided to leave and create his own team, which Team Touch, which is from touch shooting. It's an Adidas Gold Gauntlet team.
Okay.
We played each other yesterday in a great game. We've been competing against each other kind of for years. It was very interesting dynamic. And my team kind of evolved from a D-level team into this elite freshman group that,
Nice.
you know the boys, and
Yeah.
you've seen them transition to now. You recorded them. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw them. And
Yeah.
the twins that were there when you recorded them, those boys were former YBA kids,
Oh, okay.
and so it was a lot of emotion, very high intense game because we had played Robinson previous years before and we kept losing, and I got a player from Humboldt. His name is Brandon, and this kid's phenomenal. His mom is actually the women's head coach at Humboldt State University.
Oh, okay.
So I have her son, and this kid is amazing. And he was a huge X factor. He hit basically the game winner to go up on them. But I just want to give a lot of credit to his team. It was an incredible game. We won by 51-50. Jaden had an amazing game. I mean, it was one of those games where everybody in courtside started watching it. They went to the main court and just started watching it, and they were just like, "Whoa, this is one hell of a game." And I mean, it was just two titans. I mean, it was just two titan freshman teams going at it, and it was brutal. You got some techs, you got some elbows being thrown. I mean, it was like the atmosphere was very similar. Like I said, that Grant Whitney, it was just, and at the AAU level, that type of atmosphere because everybody's basically superstars where they come from. So it's like an all-star game if guys wanted to play defense.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. And it was just amazing to be around. So again, Marcus, I just wanted you to hear this because I know you listen to my podcast and you support it, but your team did an outstanding job. I'm very happy we got the chance to play each other and had a great game. The only thing I'm not a fan of is his assistant coach Kevin, and I don't give a shit if you hear this, bro. Like, stop being a jerk, and love the kids whether they win or lose. Because just a quick version, like once we beat him, he didn't want the team to even shake our hands.
Wow.
Just because
That's bull.
exactly. But Robinson, because he's the head coach, he said, "No, fuck you. We're gonna shake hands. We've known each other for years. Like, you know what I'm saying." So
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
So if he would have won the game,
that's-
y'all would have shake hands.
Oh, we gonna shake hands and cheer, and then of course he's transitioning, I guess, in their huddle because Robinson told me he's trying to discredit my team, saying they're not even that good. We beat them for the past 2 or 3 years. Remember I told you about the long game? Remember the long game?
Yeah.
You might beat me for 2-3 years, but eventually I'm gonna pass you up because my guys are always working, always getting better. I'm always trying to help them get there. So, again, Kevin, if you hear me on this, dude, relax. Like, that's all I'm trying to tell you. Relax and be for the kids, man, because that type of attitude, if you're in a position as a coach, we have a lot of power. We have a lot of influence as coaches and trainers, and we need to make sure we're at least doing our best to set the right example.
Right.
If you're saying, if you're showing to your kids as a coach you can't lose gracefully, right? How do you think that's going to translate to those kids growing up? And then especially if they're in college or, if they're getting looked at by colleges and let's say they're 20 down in a game and now their body language is poor and they're having shitty attitude. What college coach is going to be, oh, that's what I need on my team. Like, I need a goddamn kid that hates when he loses. acts like shit.
I was just watching. It's off topic. It's hopefully it doesn't sound stupid, but me and my wife were watching The Karate Kid yesterday. A little flashback. He sound like the guy from Cobra Kai who's teaching his kids how to. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's off topic. It was just kind of funny.
No, that's exactly what.
Shout
it
out
is.
to the wifey. Yeah.
So, and then one thing I wanted to ask, just because it was a funny topic, and I just figured we should talk about it because we're all men. We're all fortunate enough to play high-level basketball, college basketball, and just be crazy and have fun. Mm-hmm. I think basketball players get more attention than all the other sports. I think we're cooler, we're more trendy. Like everybody messes with us more than they mess with, let's say. Don't get me wrong, like football players have their notoriety, but like you know Tom Brady, right? Everybody knows Tom Brady. Yeah. But do you know the third string guy behind him? Yeah. Like, do you know the third string quarterback? No. Probably not. But I guarantee if you go on the Lakers, you literally know the 15th man.
Garoppolo, I think I'm saying his name right, was the backup quarterback for the Patriots. But now he's with the 49ers.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's true. It's true. Right? Look at Caruso from the Lakers. Yeah. Everybody loved Caruso. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like basketball, because like you said, like, you had a great time in Lebanon. That was me in the Dominican. Like in the Dominican, man, people knew me, ladies liked me a little bit. The beaches was great, man. Like it was fun. So I just kind of wanted to get you guys' take on I feel like hoopers we're just cooler. I don't care what nobody gotta say.
We gotta swag, but you know what? We gotta get someone who played Major League Soccer though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Soccer players really get a lot of
Europeans, not MLS.
No, we
MLS.
suck. No, USA men's soccer is terrible. But
we gotta find somebody
those
who
guys
played over there.
Like David Beckham is a legend.
Yes,
he's a legend. Yeah, but that was the only guys that I feel beat us.
But here in America, NBA, man, we got the swag, we got everything because that's what I feel like that's what they broadcast more than is basketball.
The culture, the culture.
Yeah,
and so let's talk about respectfully disrespectful. So we got a little bit about that. Parents talking to kids. I mean, that to me, that shouldn't be a thing. But I can tell you, being at courtside this weekend, that is definitely a thing. And what I mean by parents talking to kids, I mean parents talking to other people's kids. I don't think that should happen unless it's from a coach or unless it's constructive. I mean, as a parent, if you know the game and you want to help a kid out or be constructive, like absolutely. Because I do believe it takes a village. We like to believe in American culture, which is individual. We're not. We're a part of a greater tribe, right? It just is what it is. It's just the USA is a big tribe. It has its flaws for sure, but we are a part of a bigger tribe. The basketball community is even smaller part of that tribe, so we can all learn from each other, help each other, things like that. But unfortunately, had a parent talk to a group of kids, tell them be quiet. She didn't necessarily use the right tone. Father got angry, started cursing her out. I mean, it got to the point where parents were about to fight each other. One dude with dreads was calling guys out saying, let's go outside and fight. Sheriffs got called, you know what I mean? And clearly with the climate of Black Lives Matter, I mean, that's literally the shirts me and DT wearing, shout out for YBA making these Black Lives Matter shirts. But, we don't want a sheriff at basically a black event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could have shut it down.
Exactly. So, how do we feel about that?
Well, I mean, from my side of it, man, like that's, like you said, you got to lead by example. These kids are seeing this, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where we kind of have to stop the ignorance, you know what I'm saying? Especially in a basketball setting where we all know basketball is supposed to bring everybody together.
Yes.
Right? So when you're in this type of environment and you're a parent and you have kids, like you're basically, in a way, like your child is seeing this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it's just like you said, that's why I don't like to coach. That's why I ain't trying to coach, man. Shoot, I might be that coach, be like, I'll see you outside then. Like, shoot, you know what I'm saying?
For real. Know. It's how you feel, D?
I mean, I really feel like these parents should just just be happy that that they are actually getting a chance to play basketball. Because some point down the line, your son might play with your son. You know what I mean? So how I look at it, I always be nice, no matter what. If like, let's say if your son is gunning and everything, you still want to support. You still support that kid. You know what I mean? Because like I said, one day you might be on this kid's team.
True.
One day, so I try not to get into that type of atmosphere. I try to be calm, supportive. Like I said, I don't want it to come down when you got to go out there and fight. Like, what are you solving off this? So we get into this fight. Yeah. What's going to happen?
Exactly.
Nothing. I'm still going to see you next week. So we're going to fight again? I mean, this is how it's going to go the rest of the time?
Exactly.
And, the kids are seeing this. The kids a kid will be like, well, shoot, my dad said I'm about to call somebody out too then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And, like, let's just say if it was college coaches there. And this college coach saw your dad acting like this. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at stuff like that.
That's
like
true.
Look at the bigger picture. Don't be just all about me, be selfish. Like, that's a selfish move right there. Like, I'm gonna fight. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, okay, all right, let's say you win the fight, then what?
Exactly.
You're not getting anything out of it.
Nope.
Nothing. So what are you gaining?
True.
So let the kids grow. Like I said, we already had our time. Let them have their time. And let them go out there and showcase themselves.
And exactly, and again, as I said before, we're a part of the bigger tribe. Like, we want to see. I would like to think we want to see everybody succeed. So just try to keep that in mind, parents, please. Because even the day before, I told you guys I was in between Matt Barnes' sister,
right.
and Matt, if you ever hear this, just to let you know, I was in between his sister, and which I'm actually pretty cordial and cool with. We've always had good conversation, and a coach colleague of mine, Aaron, getting into it, and I'm doing my best to try to de-escalate the situation. I'm just standing there. I just happen to be in that position, but I hate to see stuff like that, because then it started trickling down to the kids, because then her son started getting into it with Anthony, and then I had to get in between her son and Anthony, and again, you just don't want to see that.
This wasn't the incident that day when Anthony got.
No, that was this is a different day. This is yesterday.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I hate to see stuff like that.
Right.
Mainly, even more so because of the climate today. We need unity more than ever. Of course, we're gonna have disagreements. Of course, we're not always gonna see eye to eye. That's just human nature. But fighting over youth sports,
it's
just
bullshit.
Adults fighting over you. If anyone should have the relevance to fight, it's the kids, because it's basketball. It gets heated, it gets aggressive.
Right.
Okay, not saying they should fight, but it's understandable.
Right.
Parents fighting in the crowd, it's hard to understand that in any capacity. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I want to get that vocalized. Like, parents, anybody out there, please, let's try to do better. Let's try to set the example for the kids. We're not perfect. We're not even going to try to portray like we're perfect.
Nah.
But every day we can try to do better. I want to talk about one more thing, and before we get out of here. It was something that was just kind of on my mind. I was watching more of Gabe the Great. You remember the AU link I sent you? I got to forward that to you, DT. It's really, really good.
Okay.
He was talking about black AU versus white AU. And is there a difference, the cultural differences? And for those listening or watching, let me really try to clarify black AU and white AU. I'm basically talking about cultures. I'm not literally talking about like the race of the kids. I'm just talking about the overall cultures. Like, Oakland Soldiers culture, especially because they're based in Oakland, and their predominantly black program is going to be very different than, let's say, Utah Empire. Utah is pretty much an all white-based program, and it's a very good program, because I played against it and they whooped my ass. But they're a bunch of Caucasian kids that are from Utah, and then you have the Oakland Soldiers, which are typically a bunch of kids from Oakland and the Bay. Culturally very different, you know what I mean, but both still get winning results.
Right.
I just want to talk about kind of some of the differences we might see as trainer coaches, and our thoughts on that. So what do you guys think?
I feel like it shouldn't be a white and black thing. Like, why should it be a black AAU or a white AAU?
Mm-hmm.
AAU is AAU.
Yeah.
If a white kid can fucking play,
He can play.
Yeah.
the white kid can fucking play.
Exactly.
If a black kid can fucking play, which we see a lot, he can
Yeah.
play. Mexican, Asian, and, the list goes down. It shouldn't matter. If a kid is good, a kid is good.
Yeah.
And
You know
that's
what I'm
kind of why I wanted to talk about it, just because we've been fortunate enough to play around the world, so
Right.
we've seen,
Yeah.
from different states, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because
just by speaking of that, like, I've seen, guys from like Lebanon, they got their stars, Taiwan.
Yeah.
I had a chance to play with Jeremy Lin's little brother.
nice.
Wow. Nice.
He's a good point guard, great shooter. And he's Asian.
Yeah.
Latin Americans, they play hard as fuck.
Yeah, they do.
And they don't care. And if you want to square up, they ready. And they got the crew behind them also. So you might want to watch out for that.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it really don't matter. Like, now, how basketball is played now, you really can't be like, okay, it's only a black sport.
No.
Bro.
It's universal.
It's shit. Look at the Europeans. That's Jokic and everybody else. That's Luka Doncic and everybody that's in the NBA right now. Like,
Killers.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
These European guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Normally we used to look over them. Now they come over and kicking our ass.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be a category of a black and white. Because I played against some, if you want to say, white AAU programs. They kicked our ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens. It
You know what I
happens,
mean?
because they know how to play the game.
Right.
Yeah.
What I can't say that they do different than black AAU, since we're on this topic, is that the white teams, they're more disciplined. They run their sets.
Yeah.
Everyone knows their role. There's no me. Everyone can score.
Yeah.
Versus if you consider, if you want to say black AAU, you might have one or two kids doing everything, or everybody want to do
It's a lot of ego.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody bickering it against each other. Like, shit, I can shoot. He can shoot. He can shoot, and we all fighting for the ball instead of just playing as a team. And that's the only thing I can say that's different. If you want to consider the black and the white, is that they're more disciplined. I mean, you might have some programs that's black that is disciplined, but they might not have the athleticism or the skills to do it.
Yeah.
Versus the white side, they know how to use their skills to their advantage.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree with you. Just to piggyback what you were saying, I agree with everything you said, and of course, the difference, which is to me the like you said, it shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to talk about the differences, then yes, you got the white AAU teams, like you said, they're more disciplined. They run their sets, probably a little more skill when you're talking about shooting, pick and roll, where yes, the African American kids are physically, most of the time, faster, quicker, jump higher, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to talk about those type of differences, then yes, they're there. But at the same time, like you were saying, it shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Nah. We all can play together. We all can play on the same team. So yeah, I mean, there's still you see a lot of AAU squads where there is still a mixture. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And one more thing. Sorry, Mark, for cutting you off. One more thing. Resources.
Yeah.
Resources is the big thing. I should have threw that in there. What I mean by that, meaning like for the white program, they might have a gym with AC, with lights on. You know what I'm saying? They can have the time to do all their fundamentals and get their shots up and everything. Versus now, I've seen it. Like I said, you got some black coaches that know the game, and you got some that don't know the game.
Right.
The ones who don't know the game, all they gonna do is just shout like, "God, that motherfucker! Like, play harder defense. Like, how do you play hard defense? Like, how? Like, how do you do it? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, that's the only thing that's different. That I can say is it's more like they expect them to do it versus coaching them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it. And to summarize, I feel in black AAU, the more emphasis is on the win and the product, right? The logo in front of the jersey. I would say more white-based AAU programs, and again, when I'm saying white, I just mean the majority of the team might be Caucasian or might be in Caucasian areas.
Right.
Is more focused on development.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of these programs, especially like the shoe circuit programs, they're not necessarily about developing you. Not at this juncture. You know what I mean?
It might be. Yeah. From just from listening, when we have our talks or whatever, I ask questions because back then, we got all the free stuff, but the one thing that we did do with Boo is before we go to a tournament, we all come together and then we do stuff before we leave, and just to get that chemistry so everybody know their role and what we about to get ourselves into. But versus we just fly into this place and you're an athletic player who needs the ball. Mark, you like to do this and I like to do that, and
we just trying to figure it out as we go. We just out athleticize everybody. We just out talent everybody. Right. I think the programs and teams that can find a good blend of both, which I believe is what I do. I think my teams are a blend of both, where I have talented kids who didn't necessarily start all talented, but developed and then became a cohesive team, and you see the balance of both. I think a lot of the shoe circuit teams have become more about the product, the brand, winning, right? And the development is still secondary. For some of the higher level white-based AAU programs, I still feel development is still the number one goal. You know what I mean? Like, of course you want to win, of course you want to compete, but development is always, the biggest thing. And, that's just my take on that. Last thing, I just want to give some shout-outs, as we do got some dogs out there, some dog teams out there, so I wanted to give a shout-out to Peyton's Place. You guys did a phenomenal job playing against my 5th grade. They beat us this time. We beat them last time. They beat us this time. So it was a great game, though. Team touch again. Great game with you. D1 Nevada, I want to give you credit for what you do, brother. If you ever hear this, he takes kids from Vegas, from kind of tough areas, impoverished areas, loads them up in the van and brings them out here to courtside. He literally drives from Vegas to courtside with a lot of these like underprivileged kids. Wow. And just gets them out there in those tournaments of plays. I mean, he literally has like 16, 20 kids on his bench. Hella kids, hella teams. And he just brings them here and they play and they play and they play and they play. And I really got to commend a brother that's out there doing something like that. He, a lot of people talk about helping the community, celebrities and other people will, throw money at the community, but to load up a van with like 30 kids, and drive.
For people who don't know how long, that's 10 hours.
That Vegas drive. Oh my God. To load them up, bring them here, obviously feed them, take care of them, put them in the hotels around here. I'm pretty sure they just got done today, and now he's driving back. He's probably literally on the road right now as we're doing this. I don't know the coach's name. Next time I talk to him, I'll hopefully try to get his name. But I definitely just want to tell you, man, big shout out to you on what you're doing, brother. Throw a splash out there of him on that. And, I just want to say again, we gotta be happy we have basketball for as long as we have, because especially with the Sheriffs coming to courtside today, I have no clue if this shit's gonna be going tomorrow. So, for the kids out there hustling and still working, man, keep training, keep grinding, and keep being proactive on trying to progress, your game and your career. Yeah. Anything you got to add, Mark?
No. Stay working.
and any last words, DT, before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I just want to, just say thank you for having me on the show. I'm a big fan of it. I watch it while I'm at work. It's a lot that I didn't cover. If you invite me again, I'd be happy to say more. I try to keep it short because my wife know I can talk for days. That's why I kept asking how long does the show can go.
We're making good time.
We are. But I'm just speaking, from the beginning part, like of me expanding, talking about AAU and all that stuff. Boy, I can go for a longer time. I think I gave all the key points that I needed to get off my chest to let these kids know how hard work you have to do, and how should I say it? How much you have to master your craft.
Yep.
And the work that you need to do. I can say a secret that helped me be noticed from coaches and, you know, college coaches and everything else. I had a discussion with a kid yesterday here. I was talking to him, and I was telling him what you need to do to be noticed in front of these coaches. And the big thing that I did that helped me was me blocking shots.
Clearly.
I wasn't a scorer when I was in the 9th grade. I just blocked shots and dunk. That's it. That's all I did. And what I told the kid is that you have to be consistent in what you're doing. So me blocking the 16 shots in that game, I had to kind of keep getting that, like around 8 or more throughout the rest of the season. Coaches want to see consistency.
Yep. Absolutely.
They don't want to see you, okay, one night, you know, I have 20 points, but we're playing against who's a weak team out here. Let's say Antelope or Natomas.
Yeah, there you go.
One of them schools, I go out there and have 6 points. They're going to be like, yo, what the hell?
Yep.
You know what I mean? But if you stay consistent, you know, have a high game here, you know, back to what we average, that's what coaches want. They want to see you being consistent. Also, good grades and everything else comes, you know, down that. But as far as basketball, they just want to see you be consistent and you working hard, you know, because they know your Carfax. You can't bullshit them because they already talked to Chris or they already talked to you, Mark, as a trainer. So they already know your background. It's true. If you get there and you trying to slack off, they going to know. And they going to know your bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the coaches, them D1 coaches, them D2s, like, they're watching you play. You know, they might not be at courtside watching, but I'm pretty sure they'd send one of their scouts out or somebody to watch a game. So you always want to go out there and perform at the highest you can go. Don't take no plays off.
Exactly. Produce.
Right.
Absolutely. So, well, again, D, appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you're here, man. You know, I just want to reiterate to everybody, thank you for those who are supporting. I do see, you know, we're getting plenty of downloads. We're getting people that are listening. It's growing little by little, and that's all, you know, like you said, consistency, right? Man. That's all we can ask is little by little. Please subscribe again on YouTube. Follow us on our IG, Bout That Life Podcast. You know, follow Mark's IG, our IG, GGT, God Given Talent. You can follow mine, Hoopstar I Am. Go shoot, give Darian a follow, man. Team Townes over here, give him a follow. But no, we really appreciate the support, man, and we just hope that, you know, you keep enjoying the content. Hope you got a good taste of reality hearing from a guy who played at the highest levels and really made a niche for himself and had some success. Again, everybody out there, keep grinding. Kids, stay positive. We know it's some tough times. We're dealing with some funny situations, but basketball never stops. And that means you have no excuse, no reason to keep stopping. So do your thing, and hope everybody has a good day.